Welcome to SAT TV News. I am Alicia George. In our top stories, Nikki Esprit is Island Chef 2014. Suriname man hacks parents to death. Promising vaccine against dengue developed. And in sports, Dominican urged to continue voting for digital wildcard pick. Details of these will follow. Welcome back. Nikki Esprit is Dominica's 2014 Island Chef. She seized the title on Thursday night at the Anchorage Hotel after competing with 3 other contenders. Esprit is presently a chef at Le Café Desiderato and Westport Tavern. The 3 other contenders included last year's winner, Gemma Joseph, who represented Secret Bay Resort, Jimmy Chef Dutch William representing Coco Rico Cafe, and Chef Antoine representing the Fortune Hotel. Reigning Carnival Queen Francine Baron and past Queen Leslasa Amor Shillingford, the co-hosts throughout the night, gave the criteria for the competition.
We have the presentation of Chef, and Lasso will explain. That will talk about their attire and how they generally represent themselves. We have skill and efficiency, the organizational skills while they're cooking. Flair and showmanship. I think everybody kind of understands what that means, how much extra they can do with food. Choice or diversity of dishes. Obviously, they are expected to create very creative pieces and show off their talent in that way. Creativity, artistry, and extent of use of the ingredients.
Other criteria included presentation and taste of the dishes. Each segment, best starter, best entree, and best dessert, carried 5 points each. Ingredients for the competition were sponsored by J. Astafans and Company Limited, as well as a contribution of Lionfish from DieFest organizer Simon Walsh.
Dominica is the leading example of lionfish control in the entire Caribbean. I was at a large dive trade show about 2 years ago. And I was sitting at a table with people from Barbados, St. Vincent, Grenada, and they were sitting there saying, we don't understand why you're putting all this effort into lionfish control.
Walsh said that all changed the following year when they began to call for assistance for lionfish control. Island Chef is Dominica's only annual culinary arts and cook-off competition. A 2-week workshop sponsored by the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS Juvenile Justice Reform Project, concluded here today, Friday, July 18, 2014. The summer program focused on workplace and student peer mediation and working with at-risk youth. Speaking at the closing ceremony, Chief Education Officer Mrs. Melina Fontaine says this training was one task under a national strategy plan to address issues of juvenile and youth at risk.
During these past 2 weeks, our counselors and other pastoral care personnel within our schools have been undergoing training in peer mediation facilitated by Peace Corps volunteer Rebecca Sweatland and her visiting friends Mary Forst and Karen Hannan.
Mrs. Rebecca Nesbitt Martin, a teacher at the Northeast Comprehensive School, says the workshop was designed to challenge how the participants respond to students' behavior and other needs in the execution of their duties without resorting to punishment, aggression, use of power, or other negative actions.
I believe we have been entrusted with a greater level of responsibility in being agents of change. Therefore, our first responsibility as professionals is to examine ourselves and our actions in relation to what was taught and learned during the course of the week and make the necessary changes.
OECS Ambassador H.E. Felix Gregoire added that these programs are also designed to get us to think regionally.
The whole idea is for you to use the information, the skills that you've acquired to be more effective in the workplace. And I always like to tell people to focus on the results. And the result is that the young persons would be better off.
According to the ambassador, there are several more projects in the pipeline to address some of the challenges faced among risk at youth. Speaking at a United Workers' Party UWP press conference on Friday, July 18th, UWP party leader Lennox Linton said 2 meetings have been scheduled to address what the party considers a threat to free and fair elections in Dominica. Representatives of civil society organizations across Dominica are invited to a consultative meeting on Thursday, July 24th at the Public Service Union building on Valley Road at 4:30 p.m. A town hall meeting will also be held at that same venue later in the day. Linton said these engagements will focus on the way forward.
These engagements will focus on the way forward to safeguard our democracy, following a careful examination of the key contributing factors to this worsening national crisis, which include but are not limited to: 1, the failure of the Independent Electoral Commission to deliver an accurate register of voters and identification cards for voting.
Also on the agenda is the high percentage of registered voters as a percentage of the total Dominican population compared to other Caribbean islands, and an increase in the use of illegal practices to subvert the free will of the people, Linton said. The UWP also plans to present their budget one day before the national budget is presented to Parliament. Party members will gather at the Arawak House of Culture on July 22nd from 8 p.m.
It is this bloated voters register and this absence of ID cards for voting that will facilitate the fraud that this party in government right now intends to use to steal the upcoming elections. And this is a matter now for the citizens of Dominica to stand up and be counted as part of the effort to ensure that we do in fact have free and fair elections in Dominica.
Linton noted that the party would like in place an accurate register of voters and a system of ID cards for voting. He further added that Dominica is one of the last countries in the civilized world where persons are able to vote without proper identification. We now go to the People's Poll, brought to you by Beacon. When we return, more stories. Welcome back. Under the theme, The Play's the Thing, celebrating Caribbean theater, the 7th annual Nature Island Literary Festival and Book Fair, NIFL, will be dedicated to the 450th anniversary of the birth of William Shakespeare. Chairman of the festival committee, Dr. Alwyn Bully, says this year's theme also recognizes the significant role Caribbean theater has played in social change and cultural advancement in the Caribbean.
The scope of the festival really is going to be centered on theater. This is the reason why we selected the tagline, "The Play is the Thing." And "The Play is the Thing" is a line from William Shakespeare's Hamlet, maybe his most significant play, maybe the best known of his plays as well, which we'll have the pleasure of seeing in September as an extension of the festival by the Globe Theatre Company of London, who is on a world tour. They're supposed to be going to 205 countries with this production, and Dominica has been included.
Member of the NIFL, Dr. Shyla Esprit, added that this year's festival will feature 14 days of activities. She noted the events are all geared for the family, so all can participate in some, if not all, of the events. The first event is expected to be Children's Workshop on Saturday, August 2nd at the UWI Open Campus on Emsall Road from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
We're encouraging parents to bring in their children, register online at the website. All this information will be made available at the Nature Island Literary Festival website at dominicalitfest.com, and you can also link with us on our Twitter page or Facebook page to get more information about all the events.
At 7:30 p.m. on August 4th at the Arawak House of Culture, the festival will feature the play titled The Ruler, while on August 7th, Alec Lazar will launch his latest book titled Kalinago Blood at the Anchorage Hotel from 7 p.m. Numerous workshops will be held on August 9th from 9 a.m. to 10:50 p.m. in acting for stage and screen, directing for film and theater, as well as creative arts at the UWI Open Campus. Some of the other activities include a panel discussion on Caribbean theater and social transformation, a screenwriting workshop, various play performances, and a slave protest walk. Wayne Bertrand of Pottersville, whose car was stolen between the hours of 12 a.m. on Tuesday, July 15th and 8 a.m. on Wednesday, July 16th, said he is happy that his car was found. His recently purchased white Nissan Sunny B14 car was stolen in Pottersville across from Jericho's Bakery on Stever Street with no trace of its whereabouts until sometime on Thursday, July 17th. Bertrand stated there was no forced entry into the car, which led him to believe the thief or thieves had a key for the vehicle to gain entry. According to Bertrand, the car was discovered by security officers at Ross University during their routine patrol in Glanvilla, Portsmouth between the hours of 2 and 3 a.m. Bertrand said it appears that the thieves attempted to hide the car inside of a 40-foot container, which would make it impossible to find. Although his car was found over EC $600 in cash, a Pioneer CD player valued at EC $400, 2 speakers valued at $180, and tools valued at EC $200 were stolen. The auto theft victim said the car is worth close to EC $10,000. Anyone with information about this incident is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-TIPS, 1-800-8477, or 1-800-HINT, 1-800-4468, or contact the nearest police station. Following the arrest and charge of United Workers' Party UWP Senator Danny Luge, parliamentary representative for the Roseau Central constituency, Honorable Norris Prevost, says Dominica's democracy is at stake. Prevost believes that the arrest of Senator Luge is evidence of the Prime Minister's control over the country.
And I do hope that Dominicans will realize that our democracy is at a very critical stage. We are facing a small dictator, and because he sees that he cannot win the election fairly and squarely, he's now beginning to bring out his guns. I am not surprised. I am not surprised. And Dominicans have to be prepared to do the right thing to make sure that this government is changed.
Meanwhile, Joshua Francis, one of the attorneys representing Luge, is of the view that the prosecution does not have a strong case against his clients.
As a matter of fact, in my humble opinion, I don't think that matter should be referred to court in the first instance. I think the prosecution would have quite a lot of difficulty in proving that Mr. Luge, in fact, wanted or intended the death of my learned friend, Senior Counsel Alec Lawrence.
Senator Luge was charged on Thursday, July 17th with incitement to murder attorney Alec Lawrence. The trial date is set for November 17th, 2014. And in court news, 6 months hard labor is what John Seaman of Canefield received for selling 25 grafted mangoes valued at $25 from Ian Bruni of that same community. The 51-year-old had gone on the property on June 14th, picked the mangoes, and had them in a white bag when Bruni approached him and asked him for the bag. He complied and left. Bruni counted the mangoes and reported the matter to the police, taking along the evidence. Seaman was later arrested, and in court on Thursday, he said he had taken the mangoes because he was hungry and didn't have anything to eat. He said he is a construction worker and planned on eating at least 20 mangoes throughout the day and sharing the rest with his friends. He expressed remorse and said he had offered to clean Bruni's yard to make up for the incident. Magistrate Bernard Paquette explained that the theft of agricultural produce carried a minimum of $2,000 or 6 months in prison, and gave him a choice to choose which he would prefer. Seaman opted to be fined. However, after seeing Seaman's conviction card, which included 14 previous convictions for theft, he was immediately sentenced to serve a term in prison. Edmund Seja of Cassibruce, who used a fake firearm to intimidate a Cassibruce woman, has been remanded at the state prison until August 6, when he will be sentenced. The charge stated that on July 10th in Cassibruce, Seja threatened Demacia Banis by saying he would split her head and additionally intimidated her with a fake gun. He pleaded guilty to both charges. The facts stated that at about 7:40 p.m., Seja overheard Banis in a confrontation with his girlfriend. He left the area, went home for the imitation firearm, and made those threats, pointing the gun towards Banis, who ran away and went to report the matter to police. On July 16, Sejan was informed of that report that Banis had made against him and denied the allegations before he was arrested on suspicion of threats and intimidation. Police then obtained a search warrant for Seja's home. However, on the way to his home, Seja admitted to police that he did in fact have a fake firearm and took them to where it was hidden. In court on Thursday, Sejan told Magistrate Bernard Paquette that Banis is a member of a gang who was roughing up his girlfriend, and when she came to tell him what had happened, he went after Banis, but she ran into a house. He denied that she had seen the fake gun.